Compared to the vast amount of characters in the DPS category, the tank category is extremely small, but unlike the DPS category, very dynamic. Sometimes more importantly than tank mastery is knowing exactly what tank to play in each and every ranked environment or situation so that you can guarantee the most individual impact and you can adapt to your enemies and allies, making sure that you win the game at all costs. All that being said, we're going to break it down for you in this video so that you could start playing the best tank for every situation, winning game after game, and climbing right out of the rank you so desperately want to climb from. If you've been waiting for the moment to take your Overwatch gameplay to the next level, now's the best time with our GameLeap.com sale where you can get your annual subscription for only $3 a month. If you want to jump in on the action and make yourself that self-actualized best player, definitely take advantage of this amazing opportunity, and I hope to see you there. So the first thing that you need to understand is for a pretty big period of time, almost every single tank is going to be viable in different situations. Because of the vast dramatic changes to all the tanks on the roster currently on live, try and let go of all your preconceptions about what tank is playable or not playable, or what tank is meta or not meta. None of those things matter right now. What you need to understand is what characters are best for your situation, what's their specific strengths and weaknesses, and how to pick the best tank for every rank, how to synergize with your team, or counter an enemy strategy. Now, the first thing you need to understand is a general rule of thumb about tanking is something that I see happen over and over again, and it's that tanks don't use enough natural cover. Honestly, shield health is not really reliable anymore. It can easily be broken and burst down, and for those of you who don't use natural cover and simply face tank enemy damage after your shield goes down, that means you're going to get burst down so quickly, and you're not going to have an immortality field to bail you out of each and every situation. What you really need to start doing is playing around natural cover no matter what tank you're playing on. But let's get into some specific nuances about how you can carry depending on the rank and situation you're in. So firstly, at the lower ranks of Overwatch, there are a couple of tanks that hard carry more than just about any other tank. The two tanks, in my opinion, that are the best at low ranks is Roadhog and Wrecking Ball. The reason that both these characters are really powerful is they can get solo impact, they can get kills, picks, disrupt the enemy, and on top of that, they really don't need that much resources from their team. If you're in bronze, gold, silver, or plat, any of these ranks, Roadhog and Wrecking Ball will be viable in the vast majority of situations. And if you want to have more individual impact over your games, these are characters that you should definitely pick up. Now, that's not to be said some other characters can have impact as well. Zarya, Sigma, and Winston are some other characters that have a lot of individual impact as well if you learn to maximize them. Being able to pick the right tank for each and every situation can definitely give you a leg up. And that's why, as far as tanks are concerned, the more tanks that you know that can fill multiple different weaknesses, the better off you'll be in your average ranked environment. If you commit in rank to being a singular main tank one trick, or a monkey one trick, or a Rhine one trick, then if you ever get grouped up with someone with similar tanking skill sets as you, you'll be at a disadvantage. But if you could fill the gaps with your other duo tank partner, that could be the best way, or if you're simply just duo queuing with another tank. Now, let's talk about some of the strengths and weaknesses of each and every tank so that you can understand how to maximize your impact on each and every tank. So let's first talk about tanks that really rely on your own team composition to be valid. To best describe this, we're going to be talking about Zarya. Now, Zarya is incredibly powerful, everyone knows this, but in order to start getting solo picks and have tons of impact, you want 1, space, and someone to help you create space, and 2, you want high energy charge. Now, while there's some tanks that do this, not every tank does this equally. Something like Orisa is not going to ever want to be taking damage to build you that precious ult charge. She's going to systematically want to be pushing up on the enemy, and if you have your other tank as Orisa, then Zarya is not going to be a very good joint tank for that combo. Now, if your other tank is a character like Rhine, Zarya can be extremely powerful because she can get high charge to get to the space she wants, but understand that if you're not playing Zarya with the appropriate characters that could do these things, she's going to be much weaker on average, and maybe it's better for you to play a different character altogether. Let's talk about some of the strengths about something like Roadhog. Roadhog is, I think, the easiest character to climb all the way to Diamond 2 because he really doesn't need that much resources. He can do his own thing, and that's one of his biggest strengths, even at the highest ranks, is if you have a tank that isn't in comms, that doesn't want to communicate with you, that doesn't want to work with you, or y'all don't want to synergize y'all's tank picks, Roadhog can be the character that doesn't care about synergy. He goes off and does his own thing. Almost, it's like Roadhog is a third DPS. If you have a Wrecking Ball that just is on the flank, or a Monkey that just jumps in randomly, and you don't have any communications with him, playing Roadhog, being this constant source of pressure, and getting key pickoffs with your Roadhog hook, that could be a way to just hard carry games in itself. Now, there are some things that can shut down Roadhog. Focus fire, things like anti-nade, good Anas, there's things that you should keep in mind, but a lot of this can be overcome with really tight Roadhog play, and there's a lot of other videos on the GameLeap channel that go into Roadhog guides. So if you want to check one of those out, I highly suggest it. Now, let's talk about some of the main tanks, because I know that one of the common things that a lot of people say is it's really hard to carry on main tank, but I do understand that in certain ways main tanking feels like you have less impact than off tanks a lot of times. Something like Roadhog, Zarya feels like they have more intrinsic impact than something like Ryan or Orisa. Now the thing that you need to understand about main tanks is the most important thing that you could do is try to take space as aggressively as possible, almost borderline to the point of feeding, but not quite. You really want to be aggressive, and that's something that if you ever watch any streamers and they do the unranked to Grandmaster Ryan one trick or Orisa one trick or whatever, they're so aggressive. Now mechanically you can do all the same stuff that they're doing, but they understand when to push in, how hard to push in, when to pull back, when to go in really aggressively and catch the enemy off surprise with a shatter. These type of things can be carry plays, and something that you need to understand is that no matter what you're up against, you need a main tank. Main tanks are pivotal in Overwatch because they create the space. They allow the whole team to do their job better. And if you don't have a main tank, you're going to be losing a lot of games. If you are a player who is not flexible, if you're a tank player that can only play a small subset of heroes, you only play Zarya, you only play Roadhog, you only play Ryan or whatever, the problem is you're not going to be able to fill the gaps that your team needs. The more flexible you are on tank, the better you are equipped to fill the gaps in that your team needs and identify strengths that the enemy has. And now, particularly in this time frame right now when we don't know the meta, this is even more powerful. But as the meta becomes more aligned and you know what characters are the best or tanks are the best, then your hero pool can tighten and you could start focusing on maximizing your effectiveness on a given set of tanks. But right now you need to look at the grand scheme of things. So let's move on to some of the other tanks. Firstly, let's talk about Diva. Now, due to Diva's buff, Sigma's nerf, and the current state of the game right now, Diva's going to be really powerful going forward for a number of reasons. The big things that you need to start doing on Diva right now is really contesting high ground hit scan or projectile heroes. Things like Hanzos, McCrees, soldiers, things like that that want to take off angles on the high ground. Diva can shut that down really easily. Another thing you can do on Diva is eat things like Orisa pulls and Mora orbs. Mora is looking to be pretty good this next patch, so that's definitely something that you should be doing. And the reason that I want to explain some of the strengths and roles of these characters is that it helps you identify what tank to play in each and every situation. You're getting destroyed by a McCree on the flank. Maybe playing Diva and shutting that down is really powerful. Maybe their Mora is giving them too much sustain. Now, if the enemy's playing something like Doomfist, Mei, Brig, all of a sudden, all the utility that Diva brings to the table with her eat, it's not really there. I mean, sure, you could definitely eat a Mei ult, but that's really hard to do. But most of the time, you're going to get punched, frozen, stunned by Brig. And if that's the case, you probably want to be playing some other tank that can brawl more on the front line, something like Ryan, something like Zarya, another character that their powerful aspect of their kit is actually good against what the enemy is playing. And we talked about synergy with your team, and this point is talking about where your tank lines up into the enemy. And something that you need to understand is at the end of the day, it's up to you as a tank player to try and find the most impact in every given situation. I don't care what your teammates think that they want or need. You as a tank need to decide whether or not you need to switch to something else to have more impact, and if you can have more impact. Maybe you're getting bullied on a Rhine. Maybe you want to switch to Wrecking Ball and still just go do your own thing, create space, find picks, and create impact in your own way. And that's something that if you learn how to do on a tank, if you learn how to adapt to your situation, adapt to your teammates, adapt to your enemies, and pick the best tank for each and every situation, that's going to get you more consistent wins over time, and it's going to ensure that you're not setting yourself up to fail by playing tanks that are not powerful into whatever the enemy is playing or not powerful with what your teammates are playing. So before we wrap it up, one of the last things that you need to understand is that sometimes you could be playing a character that is appropriate for the situation, but due to your individual skill or the way that you're playing that character, you're not actually countering what the enemy is bringing to the table because you're not playing the character correctly. Now, the first thing that you need to understand is identify when this is happening. Like with the Diva example, if you're going up to the high ground to try to contest a McCree, and the McCree is flash banging you after you use your DM, he's rolling out of your micro missiles, and he's actually demeching you and running away, that's something that you're misplaying. There's some part of your play that's missing. Maybe you're not DMing his flashbang or reading it. Maybe you're not hitting him with enough micro missiles or tracking him well enough. This is ultimately the problem when players try to take their own personal experience and apply that to the game as a whole. They say, oh, I've lost matchups to McCree in a 1v1 with Diva. That means that McCree's better in the matchup, so I'm not going to play Diva up against Kreese. No, that's not necessarily the way it should be. You should be understanding that that is something that you need to be able to do, and if you can't do it, you need to improve. You need to fix the aspect of your play. Now, the only way to really do that is by, one, watching GameLeap videos to understand the proper way, watching VOD reviews. Those are are the best things. We have a lot more of those on the website, or watching streamers or pro players. Now, I know I've made videos in the past saying that you shouldn't take everything from streamers and pro players and things like that, but by analyzing what pros and streamers do and what they can do, you could see a mold for what they're shutting down. Now, Overwatch League is only a couple weeks out, so if you want to get some in-depth information about what a tank is doing, you could definitely go watch from the tank's perspective and watch what they do. Watch just how many things a Diva is worrying about. They're worrying about this cooldown, that cooldown. Keep in mind what your favorite streamer tank is doing to shut down the enemy DPS. What are they doing that is specifically powerful? Because I guarantee you, if they were stuck in any of the ranks that you feel like you're stuck in, they would climb right out of it, no matter what tank they played. Now, if you don't have a GameLeap.com subscription, you're really missing out. GameLeap.com is the best Overwatch educational content that you'll find anywhere. And if you really want to increase the caliber of your gameplay, definitely come check out GameLeap.com. We have in-depth VOD reviewed guides, advanced tricks, or anything you will need to improve dramatically, climbing rank after rank. And the best part about it, our new winter special allows you to get your annual GameLeap subscription for only $3 a month. Definitely take advantage of this amazing opportunity. Do yourself a favor and come check us out, and I hope to see you there. Anyways, that's it for this video. If you have any questions, please in the comments down below. That's all I have for you today. I'm Coach Bills, and until next time.